Leonidas was born into a state built for war. Sparta wasn't a kingdom of luxury and riches. It was a kingdom of raw, unyielding discipline. From the moment they could walk, Spartan boys were forged into weapons. Pain was a lesson. Fear was a weakness to be purged. Strength, both physical and mental, was the only currency that mattered. Leonidas wasn't an exception. He was the epitome of this system. He wasn't groomed to sit comfortably on a throne. He was raised to fight, to bleed, and to lead from the front. As a young man, he endured what would break most people. Hunger was a constant companion. The biting cold of a Spartan winter was just another drill. His body and mind were hardened through endless exercises, pushing him past every conceivable limit. He learned to obey orders without question, a discipline that would one day allow him to give orders that others would follow into death's embrace. When Leonidas finally became one of Sparta's two kings, he was a soldier first, a ruler second. While Sparta perfected its warrior society, a shadow was growing in the east. The Persian Empire, a behemoth of conquest, was stretching its influence across continents. Its armies were the stuff of legends, a seemingly infinite tide of men drawn from dozens of conquered nations. In the year 480 BCE, the gaze of this empire, led by the god King Xerxes, fell upon the small, fractured city-states of Greece. The sheer scale of the invading force sent a wave of terror across the land. City-states panicked. Some surrendered immediately, hoping for mercy. Others began to prepare for a fight they knew they could not win alone. Sparta, however, chose resistance. Leonidas, a man who understood the brutal calculus of war, knew the truth. Sparta, even with all its might, could not stop the full weight of the Persian war machine on its own. It was a simple matter of numbers, but what they could do was buy time. A delay, even a short one, could be the spark that ignited a unified Greek defense. It could give other cities like Athens the chance to rally their forces and prepare for the inevitable onslaught. Delay could save Greece. Leonidas pored over maps, studying the terrain of his homeland. His finger traced the coastline until it stopped at a place called Thermopylae. The Hot Gates. It was a strategic masterpiece of nature, a narrow mountain pass with the unforgiving sea on one side and sheer, impassable cliffs on the other. Here, the Persians' overwhelming numbers would mean nothing. They could only attack in a thin column directly into the teeth of the Spartan phalanx. This was the place where a few could hold back many. Leonidas prepared to march north. But he faced an obstacle not of men, but of tradition. A sacred Spartan festival was underway, and law forbade the full army from marching until it was over. But Persia would not wait for religious rites, so Leonidas used a loophole. He would not take the army. He would take his personal bodyguard of 300 men. He handpicked each warrior, but with a specific, grim criterion. Every man chosen had to have a living son. This wasn't a mission of conquest. This was a mission of sacrifice. Everyone who marched knew, deep in their bones, that this was likely their final journey. They were not sent to win a glorious victory. They were sent to hold the line, to become a wall of flesh and bronze. When the vast Persian army finally arrived at Thermopylae, it was a sight that defied belief, stretching to the horizon like a sea of men and steel. Xerxes, confident in his overwhelming power, sent a messenger demanding the Spartans lay down their weapons and surrender. Leonidas's reply has echoed through history. Molen lab, come and get them. And so the fighting began. The Persians attacked in relentless waves, a torrent of soldiers crashing against a Spartan wall. They were met by a hedge of shields and a forest of spears. The Spartan phalanx was an unbreakable machine. Shields interlocked, spears jutted out, and the men behind pushed forward, a grinding, lethal engine of war. The narrow pass became a horrifying bottleneck, a killing ground choked with the bodies of Persian soldiers. For 2 days, the greatest army on earth threw itself at the 300 Spartans and their few thousand Greek allies, and for 2 days they failed. Xerxes, watching from his throne, grew furious. He had underestimated these strange, defiant warriors. He unleashed his elite troops, the legendary immortals, 10,000 of his finest fighters. They were called immortals because their numbers never seemed to dwindle. Any man who fell was instantly replaced. But at Thermopylae, they fell just like all the others, their skills and reputation broken against the Spartan shield wall. The pile of bodies grew higher. The morale of the Persian army began to crack. Then, on the third day, betrayal sealed their fate. A local man, hoping for reward, revealed a hidden mountain path, a secret trail that would allow the Persians to flank the Greek position and surround them. When scouts brought Leonidas the news, he understood immediately. The trap was sprung. This was the end. There was no panic, no despair. Leonidas gathered his commanders. His orders were simple and clear. He dismissed the bulk of the allied Greek forces. They were to retreat, to survive, to carry the story of what happened here back to their cities. Their fight was not over, but his was. Leonidas stayed. His 300 Spartans stayed. A small contingent of Thespians, who refused to abandon them, also stayed. They would fight to the last man. They would make the Persians pay for every inch of ground. The final battle was pure primal chaos. Surrounded on all sides, the Spartans fought with a fury that bordered on the divine. Their long spears shattered against the press of bodies. When their swords broke, they used their shields as weapons. When their shields splintered, they fought with their bare hands, with their fists, with their teeth. They were no longer soldiers in formation. They were cornered lions, determined to take as many hunters with them as they could. In the swirling madness of the fight, Leonidas was struck down. He fell among his men, a king dying shoulder to shoulder with his soldiers. Even then, the fight wasn't over. The remaining Spartans fought with desperate ferocity to recover his body, forming a small circle around their fallen king, defending him even in death. One by one they fell until the arrows of the Persian archers rained down and silenced the last Spartan heartbeat. By the end, no Greek defender was left standing. The Persians had won the ground, but they had lost something far greater: time, and the illusion of their own invincibility. The sacrifice at Thermopylae was not in vain. The delay allowed the Greek city-states to prepare. Athens evacuated its people and launched its powerful navy. Inspired by the incredible bravery of the 300, a fractured Greece began to unite against the common enemy. Months later, at the naval battle of Salamis and the land battle of Plataea, the Persian invasion was decisively crushed. Greece was saved. Leonidas did not live to see this victory. He never knew that his stand would become the stuff of legend, a story told across Greece and then across the world for thousands of years.